like my neighborhood only did like went to only go to tinies. You feel me? Like you got big, little, baby, and tiny. You feel me? Like my hood didn't do like infants, but
big, little, baby, and tiny.
Yeah. Gang culture stuff.
No, it's making sense to me. I never realized
got
it before.
it.
So, but this is why, like, people are named big or they name little.
baby this and tiny that.
Yeah. And then it's infant.
But
that's people.
It's like a little family tree. You feel me? You got the big, the little, the baby, and the tiny.
And G. Malone taught me, like, he one of the ones who really broke down gang culture from a business perspective. He said it's one of the most structured businesses that we could possibly imagine. Just look at that in general. There is a hierarchy and a chain of command in how you move when you from a hood. Oh, you got infant got to respond to, baby got to respond to, little got to respond to, and then the big is the one. Pretty much, if you look at it from a business structure, imagine when you tie in investment and money and how the money comes in. This shit is really.
Well, I want to ask both of you guys this question.
It's the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
Speaking of business,
the corporate ladder. Fact.
It actually has turned into a business, honestly. And you know, when you look at music, when you look at fashion, it is people made money off of that culture, right? Do you feel like it got exploited? Because when it reached mainstream, now you got people that's making clothes based off of rags.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hip hop always been based on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? What the streets is doing, what we wearing, how we rocking our hats. You know what I mean? Like the music we doing. You feel me? Like the style. You feel me? So once the industry got to it, once it got mainstream, you know what I mean? Like they looked at it like.
I remember Puma. They said Nip had said like Puma wanted to put like Rich rolling on or something on a pair of sneakers, and he was like, "Yo, you can't. I'm not authorized to do that." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you crossing lines that is people serving jail time behind that. Like it's not. But I'm just saying, like somebody in corporate had to actually come up with that idea. Like, oh, this is something that we should do. So I just look at it like, you know, it's interesting how something starts one way, and then it turns into like a commercialized business for something.
I'll speak to. I won't speak too much out of respect for the culture because I never got quartered on I never got put on, right? I just was one of those dudes who knew everybody in my neighborhood because I played football and basketball. But certain history, like why certain gangs in certain neighborhoods even started, they were like community organizations. It was like a development strategy to help feed the people, build parks, do different things like that. And
after school
a true story, a true after school programs, a true story. What happened in my community? I was doing Caltrans, and one of the dudes, the drivers. For those who don't know what Caltrans is, like the people cleaning up on the freeway after you fuck up and you whatever
spray paint on the wall.
Yeah, you got to clean up. I was doing Caltrans, and it was an OG dude who was a driver. He was like, "It's interesting because, you know, he was a Crip. He didn't." You know, I'm not gonna say what hood. And he said, there are certain law enforcement who would come into the neighborhood and destroy the playgrounds that the Crips would build and disrupt the food program and say that the Bloods did it. And then they would do vice versa. And that's kind of in a specific neighborhood how like feuding started between. But the reason why I told this story is to show the separation between what it really was focused on in certain neighborhoods. It was about community organizing, helping community, serving, helping. And then eventually after
and to stop the police brutality,
exactly.
Like that was like number one for us. Cause you know what I mean? California, like, you know, that was our racism. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in the South, they had, you know, it was really on in the South with the racism, you feel me? And like, we didn't really have it as bad as the South did, but we did though, as far as like with the police brutality. That's damn near the same.
Redlining plays a part in this as well.
100%.
Right, like you divide neighborhoods very intentionally. Not even you decide, like a country decides.
Absolutely.
This is where you're going to live. We're going to segregate these people. You stay on this side of the railroad, and that's where you're going to stay. And then let's put communities against each other. What do you think about the time we're in now, though, right? Because, like, the marathon is such a huge movement. Six, what you got going on, such a huge movement. Can we get back to that point where it is community development. We're giving back. We are going to lift the kid who decides that he wants to be a computer engineer. We're going to say, all right, let's nurture around him. Are we at a point now where we're starting to see a change?
I feel like it's coming back. It's starting to come back to that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, some of us is getting it. A lot of us is getting it a little late. Some of us get it a little early. Some of us never get it. You know what I mean? But like, you know, I feel like it's coming back to that community revolution progress. You know what I mean? Just with, you know, just foundations and anything for the youth and, you know, anything community-wise, building and, you know what I mean, helping us grow, bro. That's really what it's about. And I feel like it's coming back to that.
Well, that's what Nip said, right? Live long enough to see a third generation South Central gangbang.
Yeah.
Live long enough to see a change.
Exactly. So I just feel like we like 20, 30 years a little bit more behind. You feel me? Like, we getting it. You feel me? But I'm talking about for us to really get it. Like,
you see how you just said that?
It might take another generation or two, but you know, that's what they do. They plan for generations. So why we can't plan for generations? You know, it might take 100 years, bro. Like, it might take another 100 years. Yeah. We might be 60 years behind, bro. You know what I mean? With the game and the knowledge, but we getting it back though.
The way you just said we getting it, it reminded me of the first time we ran into you in Houston.
Yeah.
And you ran up to us and like, yo, love y'all. Love what y'all doing.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, yeah,
you know
bro.
what we doing.
Yeah, bro. I'm tapped in with y'all, bro. Facts,
you know
bro.
what's crazy?
I like what y'all stand for, bro. Like, I like what y'all stand for. I like the message that y'all putting out, and I like how the message is received, bro.
It was an ill moment.
Okay.
That's what even Dave Gross said, because when we wasn't able to get you the first time, he was like, yo, he's like, you know, what's crazy is that Stone is probably, out of everybody, he's probably the one that's tapped in the most.
Yeah.
Like, so
facts, man.
But let me
we all are though, you know what I mean? We all.
No, for sure.